Hi, campaigners. Welcome to Campaign Mode,
a gaming podcast meant for marketers to better understand the industry.
We are your hosts. I'm Sami Barnett, head of gaming at TMA.
Morgan Bridges, account supervisor at TMA.
If you have any questions, want to reach out to collab, all of our information is down below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts.
We hope you enjoy.
Hey, Morgan, how are you doing today?
Hello, Samantha. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. We had about one day of fall weather. Now we are catapulted into winter here in Texas. So whip out the winter clothing as Morgan has.
I've got my sweater on, nice and cozy, ready to wrap up the year.
Awesome. Okay, well, this is our last episode of the year, so we're super excited to kind of wrap things up, but really we want to talk about the path forward. If you are a brand marketer, chances are you're talking 2026 or hopefully have been. But, you know, as we're thinking forward and putting our marketing plans together, I think obviously the reason you're here is because you know that gaming isn't just a channel anymore. It is the new cultural engine, right? I think we've talked about this on other episodes before, but time spent gaming now surpasses film, TV, sports.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a huge cultural phenomenon that cannot be ignored anymore. You heard it here. So today we're going to break down, you know, the 4 biggest shifts that this is all about predictions and what we think's coming and what to pay attention to.
Looking into our crystal ball.
Exactly. So we're going to break down the 4 biggest shifts, the platforms to watch, and we're also going to talk about the brand playbook, if you will, leading into 2026.
I'm excited.
Anything to add?
No, just that I kind of crazy that we just did. I feels like we just did the one for 2025. Mm-hmm. So it's wild that season 1 is coming to a close and we're about to do this all over again for another year.
I know. And season 2, well, we'll talk about that at the end. Let's go ahead and jump into the macro shifts in 2026. First and foremost, everyone is a gamer now. The term gamer, we're going to use it because we're talking about the audience, but it should be looked upon as kind of outdated. It's more about behaviors that these players are playing or showcasing and less about demographic.
Yeah, I think the gamer term is something that it is helpful for marketers to like put a name to this group because that is kind of where they spend their time. But you're correct. Like this is no longer, sometimes people are watching people on Twitch that don't even play games. Like they're doing so many other things. So it's really just this culture and it's easy to put that gamer terminology on there, but you're right. Like it is such an outdated term. And now we're looking at people, just because you're a streamer doesn't even mean you like play games anymore. You just kind of get lumped into that community. So,
well, and there's also like different intersections. Like there's fashion gamers, there's cooking gamers, there's sports gamers.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about more of the behavior and their interests more so than their age and, you know, their more, I think, nuanced demographics that you typically look at. I think the opportunity is going to shift to segmenting by intent, right? So competition versus culture, creativity, are they there to socialize? The storytelling aspect, right? So
it's really about like, if you think back to digital creators as they were, you know, 5 years ago, it really was pretty straightforward. This person is a streamer. They play video games on Twitch. Mm-hmm. This person is a fashion blogger. They post their daily fits and that's it. And like that has kind of gone away. And we're no longer looking at just because somebody, quote unquote, was a fashion blogger. There's so much more crossover now. So you're really just talking about the digital landscape and the digital community across the board. So everyone kind of is, you know, even if they're a fashion blogger, they could be playing Among Us or doing group games, or everyone just kind of leaning into that positioning a lot more than they used to.
Yeah. So as a brand marketer, your creative should match the why, not the who. So I think it's really, when you're diving in, it's why are you talking to this person? What are you trying to get them to do? It should be built around why they play, why they're there, and not so much, oh, you're an 18-year-old girl, I'm trying to reach you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next, macro shifts.
Gaming is now kind of the new social network. We've said this once, we will say it again. Gaming is what social media was, 10 years ago. But Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft servers, the EAFC,
A lot of platforms.
A lot of platforms are kind of serving as where people are connecting with their friends, meeting up, meeting new people in the digital space, following their favorite creators. It's gone beyond just like, again, 5 years ago, you could go into a lobby and play with your friends. Mm-hmm. Now it's so much more than that. The ecosystem is you're not only playing with your friends, but you're going into your favorite your favorite creator's island, and you're playing with your digital friends, and you're talking on Discord. And so it's a lot more about the socializing. And than it is like me sitting down in front of a console to play 1v1.
It's more of a digital hangout space than just going to play. So I think, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they've all reported that they probably talk more while playing video games than FaceTiming their friends. So it's truly like a place where they can hang out with their friends, whoever they play with, whatever. It's social. Remember that.
They're talking while they're playing too. Yeah. They're not really playing by themselves. Almost everything is like a group activity, which is interesting.
Yeah. So I think for brands, think about those social moments that you can own, right? Think about the in-game co-op, co-play moments that you can step in and kind of give back to why they're there.
Hope you guys couldn't hear the fire truck that was just going by.
Some emergencies happening, but we're going to push through. The next one is AI-powered co-creation. So I think, AI is its own hot topic, and we're not going to dive in there, but there's definitely a lot of opportunities that are going to be unlocked by AI in the gaming world. I think more customization, more creative abilities, hopefully shorter timelines. But
it's interesting because we talked about AI being a big thing in 2025, and I think it is, but we're still at this like interesting intersection of where AI is important and it's going to increase, like you're saying, maybe it'll speed up production. But we've also kind of seen a pushback from people because it is taking jobs.
Well, we're still living in a world of fear around AI too. So, and I think for what AI is, we said we weren't going to get into it, but it's so hard not to. For what AI is today, we're kind of capped from a tech standpoint, but I think the opportunities and how people are learning to work with the tools will continue to grow, and there's going to be more adoption of it.
It's just one of those things to have a caveat about when you're looking at, touching anything to do with AI, making sure that you're thinking about how consumers are going to feel about it. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a brand that's saying, hey, this is going to make it easier for me to get in game, great. Mm-hmm. But if it's just about that and it's also taking away from someone's job, Gen Z doesn't love that either. So it's an interesting thing to keep an eye on, but also making sure that it's not something that we can just jump into without thinking about the consequences for sure.
Right. But I think as it relates to gaming, think about NPCs. You can have more of an NPC could really become more of a brand representative.
Yeah, which is great.
More creativity, more ownability, send out your brand message in a more unique and fun, engaging way. And so I think, this AI shift from a technology replayability perspective is going to just continue to add more opportunity for brands and a deeper, from what in the past could have taken a lot of time, could be quickly done from a brand affinity, brand association perspective with the use of AI.
I'm also just interested to see like the growth from early last year to this year, just in AI overall, has been exponential. But thinking about how you can now shop on ChatGPT, I'm interested to see we're talking about shopping in Roblox, shopping in ChatGPT. There's going to be a crossover at some point where there's some crazy, something we couldn't even dream of, right? I'm excited to see where we get to there because I know it's coming. I'm not smart enough to predict what that looks like.
Yes, you are.
But no, I'm very excited to see where we get to at this point next year because I think it will be crazy.
Okay, and then the last
macro shift.
Thank you, macro shift. You want to take this one away?
Oh, yeah. Player-driven UGC economy. So UGC stands for user-generated content. That's basically where people are creating their own worlds. They're creating their own, back in the day, again, 5 years ago, we were looking at the only thing you could really customize in your gameplay was your avatar and what your avatar carried around. Now you can choose where you're playing, especially with like Fortnite and Roblox. There's been actually some crazy stories this year in Roblox where, a teenage developer built Grow a Garden, which has been one of the top played games on Roblox this year, because he just wanted to build something and have fun. And now he sold it. He made a ton of money from it. It's becoming a movie. Like, it's crazy that you don't have to be a developer to build a world that you want to play in.
Yeah, I think Roblox is a good example. Fortnite has also made moves to reward creators and users to creating with this UGC content, UGC abilities, to build these worlds. And I think from a brand perspective, when you're looking at this opens up a level of not only authenticity, because who knows the worlds better than a creator or somebody playing them already, but it's also bigger bang for your buck. It's, when you leverage these creator worlds or UGC built worlds, it's a lower cost than, going direct to either a publisher or,
building it yourself, which you could.
That's what I was going to say. It's you building it yourself. There's a lot of there's definitely success that we've seen doing creative worlds in a Fortnite or whatnot. But the challenge is getting the audience there. So that's where you're spending a ton of money to
get eyeballs,
drive eyeballs and drive support. And if you're leveraging a creator that already has those eyeballs, already has that audience, it's kind of a one-stop shop, right? So you're diminishing what you're having to spend outside and really honing in on a certain audience and the eyeballs.
I think a lot of brands forget about the ecosystems that creators have built. They think about, okay, I'll sponsor like a creator stream or them to do a social post, or I will. This is
getting crazy.
Talking with my hands. Or I will build my own, or I will work with a publisher. People kind of forget that there's this like perfect merriment. That's a word you used, I think, this year. Which is like
this year.
Some point.
At some point this year.
I think she used it on a call one day. I can't remember. No, but like I haven't seen a ton of brands working with a creator's like custom built environment. Not just a social post, not a VOD or a stream, but actually, sponsoring their worlds that they're creating for their consumers and their community, which I think is
I think we'll see a shift to that.
Hopefully people jump into that.
Really quick, just to recap, everyone's a gamer. Go after the why they're playing, not the who they are. Gaming is a social network.
Where they're hanging out.
Use it as that. AI, going to instill a lot of growth, a lot of opportunities.
Going to power that co-creation.
Yep. And then the UGC, player-driven UGC communities, a white space for brands to take advantage of. Now let's shift into the platforms and formats to keep a watch on.
Okay, excited for this.
You want to kick it off? I know you're excited.
I'll kick it off for the most buzzy conversation. No.
This side of the Mason-Dixon.
The buzziest buzzword of all buzzwords for gaming this year and for many years is GTA or Grand Theft Auto. What we thought was going to be coming out.
GTA 6.
GTA 6.
We thought it's gotten pushed a couple of times. We thought it was going to be coming out in
November of this year. Then it was pushed to May of 2026, and now it was pushed again to November 19th, 2026. So Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the biggest cultural launch of the decade. If you look at the stats, it's still the most streamed game. It's one of the most played on Steam. People are still playing GTA 5, which came out in 2013, which is kind of wild. So, and people are dying for it to come out. I think it's smart that they pushed it, because if it had come out and
not been ready, I mean, that's the chicken before the egg.
But it also kind of makes me nervous about, is it even gonna come out in 2026? We're see.
Hoping so. We're putting the positivity into the
We're going to manifest it.
But I think a big one with GTA, it's going to be the next frontier of open world gameplay with the role play server. I mean, the way that they're, hopefully thinking about this is the next iteration, obviously, of what have done in the past, but leveraging everything that we've kind of talked about, UGC, will there be AI? I think that this is going to not only be the biggest cultural launch of the decade, but it's going to be a moment, and it's going to be a bar for other publishers and titles to kind of get behind and achieve. So super excited. We'll keep a watch on that for you. Stay tuned to campaign mode for all your GTA updates.
Should we do a GTA watch, a live stream when it comes out?
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, we could play it.
My boyfriend plays it constantly. It's a big gameplay.
GTA. Okay, cool. Next one, EAFC.
Formerly known as FIFA.
This title is just continues to evolve from a lifestyle ecosystem. I mean, the realism of the game in general is just crazy. The hype videos when it comes out, everything feels so real. In game, it feels so real, but it's, evolving into a social hub. You have clubs, you have community-driven game modes, you've got organic moments for brands. I think the way that EAFC has been thinking about the game is super smart, as we're talking about, gamers being more social, looking at the storytelling. I think there's just so much opportunity for brands in this title. And
EA Sports is also doing a lot too. So they just came out with a mobile app that's all about community and, showing your friends your clips, and, their EA Sports as a developer, as a unit, is really leaning in. But EAFC, because it's a newer title, I think it also has a larger global appeal, but we've seen it kind of start to take off in the US too. So
yeah.
And then you can't forget the
World Cup.
The opportunities for the World Cup. There's a great connection there. A lot of the streamers or people who play or who are, faces of the FC community already have a ton of plans to attend games and do videos around the games and content around the games themselves. So there's so much room for, even if you've never even done anything with soccer or gaming, that doesn't mean that there's not room for you to show up in this space, because it's going to be more of a cultural moment than ever before.
I mean, World Cup is in the US this year, if you don't know. And so
North America.
It's in North America this year. And so if you're a brand that's, in North America, targeting North America, and you do something in soccer, great opportunity to do something similar or bridge that connection into gaming. And there's just so many opportunities in this title to do that, alongside the creators like she was talking about. So it's going to be a moment. We're going to keep an eye on it for sure.
EAFC Watch 2026.
Ticker. Okay. Fortnite creator economy.
Yeah. So this is the next platform to watch. We were just talking about it, kind of in the overarching big
UGC,
trends, macro trends. But Epic's revenue share has changed everything. So creator map, people are actually, if you're a Fortnite creator, they're getting paid for these hubs. So they're not just, no longer are they making them for fun. It's actually a business leg of their business leg.
Yeah, or arm.
an arm.
Get it?
But they're like real media channels now. So again, when we were talking about people kind of, or brands kind of forget about these creator built ecosystems, you shouldn't anymore, because they're themselves going to be kind of the new, like, where you run an ad. It's people are showing up there, and that's where people are spending their time. So it's smart from both a business perspective for Fortnite and business perspective for brands and for creators.
Yeah,
all around.
And I think it's opening up an opportunity to think beyond just your branded island, right? You can have story arcs. The storytelling is a big piece in gaming. I think we've said it multiple times, but seasonal quests, social mini games, there's just, Fortnite's done a very good job. We have a whole episode on that talks a lot about Fortnite and how they have just become the cultural phenomenon, but they do a really good job of presenting these opportunities for brands to go along with culture and go along with the growth of the game, but also reach them in a impactful way.
And you said something really interesting about storytelling, but I think, I don't want to call them gamers, but streamers or people who tend to create content in the gaming space. We
can still say gamers on this podcast because that's who we're talking about.
That's who we're talking about. They have done again, they are so much different than a celebrity who you see you see them in interviews where they have been media trained, or they're in a TV show that they have selected to do that. Like they come at you with like who they want you to appear as. And I think when you're a streamer, you're sitting on a camera for hours at a time, just talking, being you, but they have built these like deep lore, like the lore that they have, and the communities know so much about them, and they follow along as the creator is doing a whole series. Like if you think about, like Kai's Mafiathon or the FaZe Streamathon, they're building these stories around that. So a creator brings another creator on their pod or on their stream, then there's a story about them, and they really are creating these larger, it is their personality, but it's really and truly who they are as people. So think about that as a brand where you can come in and, be a part of that. That's so much more impactful to viewers. Like they feel like they have ownership over that person. They know them. They're there for them. They support their community so much. Like it's rich with opportunity to maybe you like drop an Easter egg about that creator.
Or you do multi-chapter experiences that are following along something the creators talked about, or
totally,
like it's the Easter eggs is great, but like, are there seasonal quests that make sense that you can tie to different aspects of what the creator's doing, not just in game, but outside of it?
And people will love that because they are like, oh, this brand is listening to the creator that I love too. How did they know that? That's awesome. I want to support their brand. So it opens up a lot of doors, lots of doors.
Fortnite, always, but in new and exciting ways.
Correct.
Next, Roblox. I think Roblox has, had a reputation of being just for kids, which it's a younger game. It, has been in the past a high amount of kids that are playing it, and kids 9 to 13, let's call it that. However, we've seen over the past maybe year or so that it's aging up. The adult demographics are growing. I know we need to look at more than just the demographics, but I think as we're looking at 2026, we are seeing more of a broad audience playing this, and it's not just the younger generations. Actually, I have a stat here, stat ticker, according to Newzoo's Global Gamer Study of 2025, only 29% of Roblox players are between 10 and 15 years old. The remaining users include meaningful shares in their 20s, 30s, and even older. So we are seeing the title get older, and I think that's something that a lot of brands are concerned about. So know that, but the reason we want to talk about Roblox is because it is such a powerful game when you're talking about loyalty. These players or, worlds that are being built are really built for persistence. They're really built to bring the player back, continuous play. And, when you're a brand and you're taking advantage of a game like that, you are asking users to return to their favorite worlds daily, but also engage with your brand daily, which just drives repeatability, repetitivity.
Neither one of those sound right, but
I think repeatability is a word. Can we get a word check in the back? Repeatability.
I'm gonna allow it.
Okay, it's allowed.
We're taking it trademark.
But yeah, and I think it's not, Roblox isn't just a place where people visit a branded experience. They're going to win rewards. They're going to get collectibles. They're going to progress in their gameplay. And it's, it's essentially a CRM, right? It's driving this repetitivity and build an ongoing relationship with a brand.
Well, we've seen...
Which is exactly what a CRM does. Sorry, I had to close that thought before you interrupted me.
I did interrupt. We've seen more, I would say, we've seen more successful branded Roblox builds than any other more like super interactive, like a mobile game that you build or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that audience, and again, they're older than you think they are, I promise. Just because your kid plays Roblox and the next door neighbor down the street does too. Like, it is a much older audience than you think. I have seen more success stories come out of brands building ecosystems in Roblox. Also, I think Roblox is, yes, Fortnite is definitely...
It's the shinier, like more...
Yeah.
But Roblox is true. People are going to experience these worlds and win something from it or get something back from it. And so it is a tried and true way to drive those repeat visits.
There you go. Those repeat visits, repeatability.
Repetitivity.
Well, even like the, now that you can actually shop for an actual, the Rihanna Fenty,
oh, yeah.
like the Fenty Beauty.
Well, and, a lot of brands have,
a lot of brands are taking part of that.
The commerce side of Roblox.
But that really came about this year too and became such a big thing. So I don't know. I think when you're thinking about day-to-day engagement, you're right. Like Roblox is such a strong platform and something that everyone should think about. And I mentioned earlier the Grow a Garden guy. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many current like games that are coming out of a variety of things. Like your branded game could actually be one of the top games on the platform. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility on Roblox, I would say.
And I like that you brought up the commerce side of it because that, yes, we saw, brands take advantage of that this year, but not that many.
Not that many.
I've got $1 million idea actually that has been sitting up here. So reach out to us because that is a huge opportunity for growth in 2026. So I'm glad you brought that up because, not only are you driving these repeat visits, but if you have a product that you're selling in Roblox and you have repeat visits, repeat purchases.
Hello. Very great segue though.
Yes. And I'm going to let you take TikTok because I know it's your pride and joy.
I do spend a lot of time on TikTok, but that is our next big platform to watch. I mean, as it relates to gaming, commerce, and gamers themselves. So TikTok Shop has reinvented online shopping, but crazy enough, it has reinvented game to consumer shopping. So there's actually, I think it was Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. They dropped their game where you could purchase it through TikTok Shop. Which is wild and such a big moment, but also there's live streaming. So TikTok is really trying to encourage streamers to cross stream, not just on Twitch or YouTube, but also on TikTok Live. But at the same time, we're seeing the live shopping element of people watching a live stream and then
purchasing.
It's like an HSN, which is wild because you would be like, why is shopping network now popular with Gen Z? Mm-hmm. Like this is pretty much what it is, but just on their preferred platform. I do think though it is really smart of TikTok because again, these gaming audiences are so powerful as far as purchasers. But that also leads to real-time conversation, spikes, And at the same time, it's just smart use of the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. It's driving conversation, but also if you are selling a product with a gamer that's live streaming, that's also directing people to purchase. I don't know if you've ever purchased something from, I know you have, but listeners, if you have purchased something from TikTok Shop, you know how simple it is.
It's
you know how easy it is.
Seamless.
So to tie that together with, something you're doing in a live stream and drive them to purchase your product during that is a real-time conversion spike. Like that, you see the value, you see it happening. It is super smart. TikTok has done a wonderful job. I don't know where TikTok will be. There's always a new conversation around it. So
I'm pretty sure it got moved again as of like today.
Yeah. So 2026, keep an eye on TikTok, but take advantage of those opportunities outside of your, typical gaming platforms and environments that you've heard of. I think this is, just further showcasing how big of a cultural phenomenon gaming has become. Okay, now 4 behavior shifts that we expect to see in 2026 from our audiences.
Let's run through it.
This one we talked about a little bit, gameplay socializing. We already kind of hit this, but I think players, I think to tie this one up, players are hanging out in game as much, if not more, than they're like grinding or playing in mini games. So I think from a brand, you should think, how do we add to this social fabric, this social environment, and not interrupt it?
Bringing people together, watch
social
parties.
hubs, yeah. Co-op missions.
Being a part of like those Minecraft servers, being a part of those servers, those types of things. Clipping
is a big one.
Sharing jokes.
Yeah.
being in the language.
Being jokesters. No, clipping is a big one. I think we don't have this in the list, but something to look out for. Players are clipping now more than ever. And it's, they like to, there's a bunch of different platforms where you can do it. And it's a very big social aspect of gameplay. So
just a quick asterisk. What is clipping? Basically taking a clip from a live stream or a gameplay and posting that on social.
All gameplay.
Yeah,
think like TikTok, but all gameplay clips or clips from your gaming experience that people can react to.
Yeah. Watch me.
Very popular.
Watch me run down this runway in the coolest outfit on Dress to Impress. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. The next one is fragmented attention.
The micro moments.
So there is a lot going on. It might seem overwhelming. It might seem like, how do I even talk to anybody I want to talk to, because there's so many things happening. Mm-hmm. But it actually creates more of an entry point for brands because you can come at it from so many different angles. Mm-hmm. You can test the waters a lot easier. You're not, beholden to these huge timelines or, football season is very clearly in August. If you're going to play in football, you're going to start then, or hockey season, NBA season. These micro moments give you flexibility to kind of test the waters and jump into something. And maybe it goes great, but maybe
I think it will.
But
I think, today's players, they're bouncing around. They're bouncing around from games. They're bouncing around from social feeds to streams to you name it. And so there's not necessarily one big moment to own anymore. There's hundreds of little ones. So I think while capturing big moments is great, like she's saying, there's the real opportunity is the hundreds or thousands of smaller moments where you can actually have, non-fragmented attention, full attention, and be more meaningful with the audience.
You don't have to have...
I just like to make up words on this podcast.
You don't have to have tons of money to sponsor a game to just, make sure that your brand is a part of that game anymore. You can really run the gamut of amount to spend, who are you targeting, rewards. It's crazy.
Bite-sized missions. There's I think when you think about a micro moment, you're like, what is that? It's, rewards. You can be end of a match reward. It could be a single collectible. There's bite-sized aspects to own. Okay. Value exchange is mandatory. Tori. I think,
You're going to listen to one thing we say today.
yeah,
It's this.
yeah. And let me say it clear instead of just singing it. Value exchange is mandatory. Players, I actually said this earlier this week, traditional advertising, you don't really see people asking for more of it.
No.
Ever since I've moved into this industry, this is the first time where I see the audience say, "Oh, we want more of that," or "When is this brand coming back?" And so I think as you're looking at marketing, this audience is very welcoming to brands. However, they'll reject your traditional ways. If it's done wrong, they don't want to sit there and listen to a 30-second ad, right? They want the biggest thing you can do for this community is value exchange. It is such low-hanging fruit. It's so easy to do. You don't have to break the bank to give back. There are micro moments or smaller ways to give back alongside a big buzzy campaign. You can do both, but make sure that you are giving something in return. It's almost like they haven't grown to expect that, but that is kind of the marketing 101. So I think if you're a brand, you should be thinking, what do players want from us? Like, why are we here? What should they get because we showed up?
Yeah, how can we give them access or a boost or reward for being a part of this community and for wanting to, for letting us show up? It really is you cannot capitalize on this community without truly jumping in and trying to give back to them. Because one, it's just poor. Don't do that. It's poor marketing. But also, they are more likely to accept you and to jump on board and be incredibly grateful and want you to come back if you are giving them even something small. So think about those rewards.
Yep. Gaming as identity. Take it away, or do you want me to?
I can take it away. I mean, this is something that's been a part of gaming forever. Being able to be a different person, be a different avatar, but even more so, it's becoming very serious. This is how players define themselves. Very serious. Digital items matter as much as or even more than physical merch. So there's entire players or gamers or streamers whose whole shtick is collecting the uncollectible or, showing off their different in-game items. And, I have the rarest of rare pickaxe from this random Fortnite drop 10 years ago. Collecting has become a huge thing, and being able to show off who you are based on your collection and how you show up in game is something that's continuing to be even more important than we've seen in the past decade.
To close this out, what is the recap? What do we do from here? So we have a little bit of a 2026 brand playbook. Obviously, reach out to us with any questions if you need us. But here is kind of pulling everything together in a quick 4-point playbook for you. So first and foremost, build persistent worlds wherever those worlds exist. One and done activations, they're fading fast. Think about all pieces of the pie. We've said this before. Media and sponsorships cannot live alone. They need to go hand in hand. You've got awareness, you've got your buzzy moments, but I think making sure to think about what you're doing as a persistent filter. You want to create returnability, progression, community, think seasonal, whatever that looks like. Build something with a partner that drives those repeat visits, that drives, returning to get something, right? Like we just mentioned, you giving back the value exchange. Build something that's going to be persistent, like a CRM, honestly.
And I know you're probably thinking, well, didn't you just say micro moments are so important and you can just jump in? It's about jumping into smaller moments, but not jumping in, jumping out, never to be seen again. Your entire strategy could truly be jumping in to these micro moments to drop subs when somebody is, popping off as a streamer. That is still both capitalizing on building a persistent world and also these micro moments. So,
but you can continue to jump into their streams throughout the year, not just one stream.
yes.
Persistence,
even though it doesn't have to be this huge cultural
phenomenon, it could be,
So I just had to clarify.
Seasonal arcs, collectibles. Yeah, I mean, what I said at the beginning, build your persistent world, no matter what that world is or looks like, just be persistent in what you do.
Love it. Treat gamers as communities. So I know we're getting rid of the gamer term,
We're
but
not getting rid of it. I think it's just
understanding that there's
knowing
others
that there's
in there.
more than just one person gaming.
Correct. So brands need community managers, just like you do on social media. There should be a community manager for anything you're doing in gaming. So not just a media slap, not just a logo slap. You shouldn't just, put your logo there and then run away. You need to engage with the community, understand them, understand the streamer you're working with. So really make sure that you have someone that can help lead that pack. That would be like us. We would be helping you lead that path. Nurture those conversations inside Discord, clubs, creator channels. Again, be a part of the conversation. Don't just jump in and jump out. And the more you show up consistently, the more a part of that lore or that mind share that you are going to be for that creator or that space or that game. So again, that goes back to persistence, but treat them as a community of people and not just like one-off individuals.
Yeah. And I think her point about Discord is going back to that social aspect. Discord is a very social platform where these communities are gathering to talk. So I think as we're thinking about treating gamers as communities, yes, everything she's saying. Plus, make sure you're thinking about that social aspect of it. Make sure you're remembering, hey, they're here to, hang out and be with their friends, not just playing the game. So take advantage and nurture those conversations. Third, creator-led campaigns. I think there's this shift from creators as amplifiers to creators as creative directors almost. When you look at creators, they know our creative director in the room just gave me a stank eye, but wait till you hear what I say. They should be involved in these conversations from the get-go. We should be co-building worlds with them. They know the culture, they know the language, they know what their audience likes, they know the gameplay dynamics. So really leverage them as, I don't want to say creative directors again, but, movers of the brand, of directors of the brand, and not just amplifying a message that we already set forward. It's really about the co-creation aspect and taking advantage of their knowledge in the space to win.
And imagine how much more buy-off you're going to get from a creator if you don't just come to them with a one-size-fits-all brief and say, hey, we need you to say these 5 talking points. This is what we're doing. I don't care what you have to say. But coming to them and saying, hey, you feel like your community feels like who we want to target. We have this new product. We have this new moment. We want to do this thing. What would you do to help us promote it? Mm-hmm. Like they're going to also be like, this is great.
They want to build with us as well.
I would love to do this. So it's not, 100%. It becomes more than just like a check to them. They are going to be bought off, and then it's going to come off so much more impactful to their community when they are bought off. Mm-hmm. Something to think about. All right. Finally, AI native brand characters and quests. Again, we mentioned the AI is going to help kind of lead a few things. It helps kind of connect those NPCs who used to be like they're an NPC for a reason because nobody has time to code what they're talking about. Now brands could use AI to have that NPC become a deeper brand character, and it's not going to take away from them coding for the rest of the game, right? So they could be a companion or a character that like evolve in your player behavior. Do you have a brand character that follows along as somebody plays through a quest and brings something exclusive? Mm-hmm. I'm just,
No, imagine you're right. Imagine a brand character who understands you, who adapts to what you've been doing, who helps you progress. And like their, missions are now adapted more personal to your gameplay. Like just imagine having some sort of support like that from a brand in game that's working to learn and understand you.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge benefit of AI in gaming that you should be thinking about. Sorry, continue on.
No, that was it. I mean, that's really a big thing to think about is how can I use this tech that doesn't necessarily take away from people who, like what somebody was doing previously. So we're not taking away from coding the game itself, but adding to it, adding experience, giving access, giving plus ups, using AI for positive things.
It's really just using AI to further your brand message and brand affinity with this audience.
So I think the biggest takeaway here is persistence. Creators are going to help you, and think about
don't be afraid of AI.
And don't be afraid of AI.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Here
guys.
We go, 2026.
This is our last episode in 2025. Season 2. We've got a bit of a change coming, so stay tuned to learn more there, but we're super excited of what season 2 is going to bring. Happy holidays to all of our campaigners.
Yes.
And we'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year. Bye, campaigners.
Bye.